President Trump calling for the Commerce Department to help get a controversial Chinese phone maker back in business. Tweeting today, I'm quoting now, President of Xi of China and I are working together to give massive Chinese phone company ZTE a way to get back into business fast. Too many jobs in China lost. Commerce Department has been instructed to get it done. Chinese tech company ZTE says its business was crippled after a U.S. ban against the company went into effect in April. The U.S. Commerce Department blocked American firms from working with the company until 2025, saying it violated U.S. sanctions against North Korea and Iran and lied to U.S. officials. CNN Money and politics correspondent Kristie Lu Stout joins us now with more on, really, Kristina, this is an about face, or at least a push for an about face. Why?
Seems like a major reversal, and based on the president's tweets, he seems to say that the U.S. punishment on China was simply too harsh. It caused too many job losses. Now, just to take a step back, the administration was very harsh on this company in particular, against the larger backdrop of just being tough on China. Now, in 2017, as you referenced, the U.S. imposed a heavy fine on this company in violation of U.S. sanctions for selling to North Korea and Iran. Then it went even further last month by saying that the company lied about punishing some of its employees, and it imposed further punishment. Now, it was that punishment in terms of...
while it seems illogical that someone who won power accusing China of stealing American jobs now wants to save U.S. sanctioned technology firm ZTE to rescue Chinese jobs, the move is perfectly compatible with his character.
And that
ZTE's fate is evolving into a multi-layered drama that encapsulates tense trade posturing between two economic superpowers that are also locked in high-stakes geopolitical maneuvering over the future of a nuclear North Korea. It offers fresh insight into Trump's way of doing business, his willingness to flout the norms of presidential governance and his own impulsive behavior, all of which proved so attractive to voters soured on establishment politics in 2016. Related, Trump throws ZTE curveball as big week for U.S.-China trade begins. Trump has repeatedly stressed the warmth of his friendship with Xi Jinping since he welcomed the Chinese leader to his Mar-a-Lago resort last year and was honored with lavish hospitality during his return visit to Beijing. The president appears to be betting big that the personal connection can pay off despite the widening gulf between China and the U.S. on trade. "I think there's a bit of a bromance between President Trump and Xi," said Larry Kudlow, who runs the president's National Economic Council, at an event hosted by Axios on Tuesday, adding that the friendship might even lead to a trade deal. Bromances are always a good idea. But to Trump's critics, the tussle over ZTE offers yet more evidence that he's prone to placing his personal political gain over the national interest, takes profound decisions without regard for the risks, and is guilty of hypocrisy. It's also raising questions about whether Trump's hard line on trade is softening ahead of talks with Chinese negotiators in Washington this week. "This is quite unprecedented," Michael Herson, a former U.S. Treasury trade representative to Beijing, told CNN's Richard Quest on Monday, arguing that the president's gambit could mean he is on a different page from his most hawkish advisers on the China trade dispute. The Trump administration last month banned ZTE, which makes smartphones running Google's Android operating system, from using U.S. technology after accusing it of violating a deal in which it agreed to pay $1.2 billion for evading U.S. sanctions on North Korea and Iran. Yet on Sunday, out of nowhere, Trump tweeted that President Xi of China and I are working together to give massive Chinese phone company, ZTE, a way to get back into business, fast. Too many jobs in China lost. Commerce Department has been instructed to get it done. Trump posted a follow-up tweet on Monday that was just as staggering, possibly influenced by hours of news coverage about motivation in offering to do the deal. ZTE, the large Chinese phone company, buys a big percentage of individual parts from U.S. companies. This is also reflective of the larger trade deal we are negotiating with China and my personal relationship with President Xi. Why save ZTE? The case for saving ZTE is that doing so could yield significant concessions in return, and the United States should use every bargaining chip it has to secure a win in the deepening trade confrontation with Beijing. Trump also needs China's cooperation and continued pressure on North Korea as he prepares for his summit with the isolated state's leader, Kim Jong-un, in Singapore on June 12. There is also the argument that ZTE is emblematic of the entwined US-China economic relationship, given that thousands of jobs in both countries depend on its survival farther down the high-tech supply chain. But Trump's intervention on ZTE surprised trade experts because it rejected the principle that trade enforcement decisions should not be used and potentially waived for political reasons, a bridge other presidents have hesitated to cross. Avoiding that Lincoln spares presidents from requests from every foreign leader they meet to intervene in niggling trade disputes. Politicizing enforcement action also weakens U.S. arguments to foreign governments that the rule of law and good governance are crucial to healthy political systems and regulated interaction between governments. Further, Trump's hint of